The most dangerous part of writing a book isn't the first page, it's the last one. I'm not talking about the last page you write. I'm talking about the last page you edit. The one you've read 47 times. The one where the words have stopped looking like words and have started looking like weird, meaningless squiggles on a screen. It's that moment where you're so deep in the weeds of your own story, you can no longer tell if it's brilliant or if it's complete and utter garbage. And you start to wonder if you should just throw the whole 80,000-word manuscript into a digital volcano and take up a less soul-crushing hobby, like competitive cheese rolling. We've all been there. It's called the editing abyss, and for a lot of authors, it's where good books go to die. Let me tell you a story about a writer. We'll call her Jane. Jane had a fantastic idea for a fantasy novel. She spent a year of her life, every morning before work, every weekend, pouring her heart and soul onto the page. She built worlds, she created characters that felt like her own children, and she wove a plot that was intricate and exciting. She typed the end and felt this incredible surge of accomplishment. And then, the editing began. The first read-through was okay. She found some typos, fixed some clunky sentences, no big deal. The second read-through was harder. She started noticing bigger problems. A character's motivation in Chapter 3 didn't quite line up with their actions in Chapter 15. The pacing in the middle sagged like a wet cardboard box. Her main villain kinda sounded like her grumpy uncle complaining about property taxes. By the fifth read-through, Jane was lost. She was moving commas around like a deranged surgeon, convinced that the fate of her novel rested on the placement of a single semicolon. She spent 2 weeks rewriting a single chapter, only to decide the original version was better. Her momentum was gone. The joy was gone. The confidence she felt when she finished the draft had evaporated, replaced by a fog of self-doubt. Her brilliant book was no longer a source of pride. It was a 300-page monument to her own inadequacy. This is the part of the process nobody really talks about. We romanticize the writing, the spark of inspiration, but we don't talk about the grueling, thankless, slow-motion trench warfare that is editing. We're told it's just part of the deal. Writing is rewriting, they say. And sure, that's true. But does it have to take forever? Does it have to be the part that makes so many of us want to quit? For the longest time, I thought the answer was yes. I thought this was the price of admission. You either had the money to hire a team of expensive developmental editors and line editors, or you resigned yourself to spending twice as long editing as you did writing. Then I started hearing whispers about AI, and I'll be totally honest with you. I was a skeptic, a massive one. The idea of letting some algorithm, some robot, touch the words I bled onto the page felt like a betrayal. It felt like cheating. It felt like asking a machine to paint a sunset. It just seemed soulless. This is the first big myth I had to bust for myself, and it's one I see everywhere. Myth number 1. AI will make my writing generic and steal my voice. We think of AI as this content-churning machine that spits out bland, cookie-cutter paragraphs. And if you use it that way, it absolutely can. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about asking it to write for you. We're talking about using it as the most powerful editing assistant ever created. Think of it this way. When you drive a car with a GPS, is the GPS driving the car for you? No. You are still the driver. You choose the destination. You control the speed. You're the one with your hands on the wheel. The GPS is just an incredibly smart co-pilot. It's analyzing millions of data points, traffic, road closures, shortcuts to give you the most efficient route. It points out things you might have missed. Hey, there's a huge traffic jam ahead. You might want to take this exit. That's what AI can do for your editing. It's your literary GPS. You feed it your chapter, and it doesn't say, "Here, I rewrote this to be better." It says, "Hey, in this section your pacing slows down considerably." The sentences are all long and complex. To increase tension here, you might want to try using shorter, punchier sentences. It says, "You've used the word suddenly 12 times in this chapter. This can weaken your prose. Here are the 12 instances. Maybe you can rephrase them to be more impactful. It can even track things a human editor might miss on a first pass. This character, Sarah, you described her as having blue eyes in Chapter 2, but in Chapter 18, you said her eyes were brown. Boom, an inconsistency that could pull a reader right out of the story, found in seconds. How long would it have taken you to find that manually? How many read-throughs? Suddenly, I realized AI wasn't a threat to my voice. It was a tool to amplify it. It was clearing away all the junk, the inconsistencies, the repetitive words, the pacing issues, so that my actual voice, my actual story could shine through more clearly. It's not replacing the author. It's empowering the author. Which brings me to the second big myth. Myth number 2, using AI is cheating. Is using a calculator to do complex math cheating? Is a musician using a digital tuner to tune their guitar cheating? Is an artist using Photoshop to refine their digital painting cheating? Of course not. They are all tools that help the creator execute their vision more effectively and efficiently. The calculator doesn't make you a mathematician. The tuner doesn't make you a great guitarist. And AI doesn't make you a great writer. You are still the writer. You are the source of the story, the characters, the emotion, the theme. The AI is just a new, incredibly powerful tool in your toolbox. It's like switching from a handsaw to a power saw. You're still the carpenter. You're just getting the job done faster and more precisely. And that's the real breakthrough here. The one key benefit that changed everything for me, and for writers like Jane. It's speed. The transformation is mind-blowing. That process that had Jane trapped for months, doubting her every word, the AI can do a first-pass analysis in minutes. It gives you an immediate, high-level report on your manuscript's health. It's like getting a CT scan of your story. You can instantly see the structural issues, the pacing dips, the crutch words, the character inconsistencies. Instead of spending weeks hunting for these problems with your tired, biased human eyes, you get a clear, objective roadmap of exactly what needs fixing. The result? You're no longer bogged down in the demoralizing, line-by-line slog. You get to skip straight to the fun part of editing, the creative part. You can spend your energy on the big, important stuff. Deepening your character's emotional arc, sharpening your dialogue, making your theme resonate more powerfully. You're not wasting brain power trying to remember if you use the word just too many times. The machine does that for you. You get to focus on being the visionary, the storyteller, the artist. It turns the editing abyss into a launchpad. It takes the most feared part of the writing process and makes it one of the most exciting and productive. It gives you back your momentum. It gives you back your confidence. But most importantly, it gives you back your time. Time you can use to get your book finished and into the hands of readers, or even better, to start writing the next one. This isn't some far-off future. This is what's possible for authors right now. It's about working smarter, not harder, and using every tool at your disposal to bring your vision to life. Look, seeing is believing. It's one thing for me to talk about this transformation, but it's another thing to experience it yourself and be around others who are doing it too. If you want to see how I'm actually using AI to write full books and connect with other authors doing the same thing, check out my school group. It's free to join. You'll also get access to the tool I personally use, instaauthor.com. Links are in the description. See you inside.